First question. When I first reached out, what went through your mind?
Well, I got your message and I immediately thought, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool because I actually think I have a really unique and promising like relationship with my dad, and I say that he is a really big part of why I play music and my inspiration for why I wanted to be a musician and everything. So we actually do have a unique bond that I really love and cherish, and when I saw the opportunity to be able to share that with others in a positive light and something that can encourage other in this artistic way and in such a creative way, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like something I definitely want to be interested in. And then I asked him if he would do it for me, if he would do it with me.
And I said, of course.
Okay. Did anything go through your mind?
What kind of stories would I tell? It's a lot of weird ones. All the time we spent together driving back and forth to school and other places she had to go. They were interesting now when we think back. It's like every time we're in the car together, you're like, here we go again. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it was fun. It was fun.
Okay. So are either of you into like astrology a little bit at all? No? You don't think about signs? Your sign and their sign?
Not really.
No. Stop sign.
Okay.
No. No, we don't really do astrology, no.
Okay. So personal backgrounds in music. So you first. Can you tell us about your relationship with music?
Oh, man. I mean, I grew up, I don't remember there being a time in my life where I was not around music or even around a musical instrument. Both of my grandmothers had pianos in their home, and my dad's mom played piano in church. So from an early age, I was introduced to that instrument very much. And then it was just always music being played in the house, very much like mainly gospel. A lot of gospel, both old school and what was trending in like the 90s and 2000s, you know. But a lot of gospel. My mom would play classical music while we did our homework. My dad he liked jazz, so he introduced me to jazz, and then his brothers are jazz musicians and they're in that circle. So I was just always around. I was always hearing music and listening to music, and I had an early introduction to piano. But when I first heard the saxophone, don't remember when it was because I was literally that young. I just knew that was the instrument I wanted to play. I was like, I want to play the saxophone. And then I would tell my parents, like growing up, I'd be like, you know, I'm going to play the saxophone one day. Do you hear that sound? You hear that? I'm going to play that one day. I'm going to play that one day. I don't know what they thought because I was being totally serious. I don't know what they thought. But then... I don't know. I was just like, I want to play the saxophone. I was like little kid. And so they put me in piano lessons, and then they gave me a clarinet because they didn't, I don't know, I guess, not that they didn't believe in me, but they were like, oh, she'll grow out of it. It's just, but I was like, no, I want the saxophone. So started playing the instrument that I always wanted at 13, started saxophone, and then I just took off with it. Told my mom I wanted to pursue it professionally and go to school for music, and that's the path I ended up going down, and that's where I am. Okay.
What about you? What's your relationship with music?
My relationship with music is, I had my dad played in a lot of jazz bands before he got married, and my mom used to sing. I think she sang with the Howard Lemon Singers. And so my dad was always in music, and he had a lot of albums. He had a very expansive and rich record collection. And I just remember from the time once he sold that, we were a lot older. And I think I was in my 20s when he sold it. And this one guy came from California and gave him thousands of dollars for his record. He kept some of them, but he said, you have such an extensive collection. He was picking them out he was there for like a week picking out albums that he wanted. And then he decided, can I just buy them all? Because I've been here a week. And so that gave me interest. I knew my dad was a musician. He played a lot. He taught my brothers how to play. I think I was early teens. He bought me my first bass guitar from my cousin that played professional jazz. He's a lot older than me, but cousin Jerome. He still plays today. But that was my first introduction to it, and I used to listen to music. We used to have a pool table. We would put the records on and shoot pool, and had a band when I was little. Well, not when I was little, but as a teenager. My younger brothers, they were very young. They was like 12 and 11, but they could play so well. We started a little band, and we would play for weddings and banquets. And then as we became teenagers, we played at a lot of places, a lot of different weddings, a lot of different functions. They were like, "Who's this young man? These guys are only like 15, 16 years old." But so, they paid us a little bit of money because we didn't really need it, but we just wanted to play. And we were playing our backyard, in the garage, just practicing. And others went down the street. I think the Mighty Clouds of Joy was a good friend of ours, and we could hear them when they came to town. They would practice like 2 blocks down, and we would hear them. So whenever music was in, they came in during the summer. When they practiced, everybody would just be quiet, and you could hear it. It's like the whole block could hear these people singing. And when we played also, everybody would get quiet. We'd be in the garage on the back porch playing. Everyone would get quiet, and we would just be practicing, having fun. So I think that was my earliest memory of music, and most of the time I just listened to jazz. I basically listened to a lot of different music. I was always in Canada. I was buying a lot of different, my wife said weird music or white music, because I couldn't find the music I wanted. I would go to Canada and pick up my albums and things like that and come back. So I did listen to a lot of music people didn't listen to, or at least you wouldn't hear it on regular WGPR or anything like that. And it was just usually smooth music. It didn't necessarily have to be jazz. It was just music that I liked. And I said, well, I can't find this guy. And he said, oh, go over to Canada. So I'll go over and buy it, and then I would come back. And they were probably some professional guys. I didn't really care who they were. I just liked the music. So,
can you think of any titles?
I know some of the players. Alex Acuna, I would listen to a lot of his albums. That's how I got introduced to Abraham Labrel, who's a famous bassist. I used to listen to him a lot, and a lot of African music, or a lot of European or African jazz, or just musicians. Sometimes they were folklore, sometimes just. Once I heard a song, I would try to track that down, and then I would listen to the albums, but I really basically bought it for one song. I used to like Bob James, and the only reason I got introduced to Bob James is because Taxi. I loved the music of Taxi when that show came on. Taxi and what was that? Hill Street Blues. When those, I bought that album, and I would just listen to. I wore it out. So I bought a tape, and I was just playing in my car. That was my easy listening to music. I could drive for 45 minutes and just listen to it. And so that was my weird thing. Most people say, what are you doing? What are you listening to? I say, it's my music. I just like it. So.
Okay. You both kind of answered that question, but is there one particular genre, the kind of music that you create or gravitate towards? You did kind of just answer that, but anything you want to add? You first.
I think I gravitate towards music that it's got to have some level of soul to it. Like, it's got to have some level of soul. Soul being whether it's the roots that the music comes from, or soul being that it just hits my spirit a certain way. And I think mainly the music that I grew up around, definitely gospel, definitely influenced my attraction to funk. I would say the jazz that I grew up listening to, now I listen to jazz everywhere from 1800s to today. So I would say the music I grew up around definitely heavily influenced my interests and tastes today. And my dad introduced me to a lot of artists, especially when I started playing saxophone and jazz. He was like, oh, you gotta listen to Yellow Jackets, you gotta listen to this, you gotta listen to that. So I would say that he also influenced my taste in music as far as what I listen to, because he's still showing me. He just showed me somebody the other day. He was like, oh, you should check out this song. And so and I usually every time I end up liking it. So yeah.
What about you? Anything you want to add about the music you gravitate towards, even though I know it's pretty eclectic, probably?
Yeah, it is very eclectic. Right now, because I like the calm, I'll listen to the symphony orchestras. I just want calmness. Sometimes my life at work is so hectic or is buzzing all day. I'll turn on the symphony music and I just want to listen to piano, Chopin or something. Anything nobody's talking or asking me a question. And now I listen to, I forget this guy's name, Macklin. I think his name is Macklin. He does a study of music, so he dissects the Chopins, and he's like, just listen to this section, how he's playing this. I heard Chopin playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and he went from very simple on the piano to this big vibrato and everything, and I was like, this guy really took, I wouldn't have never picked that out, but they said, yeah, he dabbled with a lot of this, so when I get music that just quiet, calm, serenity type of music, it can be gospel. Sometimes I go back to the old Shirley Caesar. I just want something real quiet, smooth, no janky stuff. I just want something, I guess, just to soothe the soul and just relax the mind. So that's the type of music I usually gravitate to now. I just want nice. I can listen to birds, actually, just as long as it's quiet. And it just soothes. I'm able to relax and think out loud or to think my way through some things, meditate and stuff like that. So, okay.
Was there a moment you realized that you truly love music? I feel like you may have answered this with like, you heard the saxophone and you're like, oh. But is there something that comes to mind with that question?
When I knew that I truly love music, I don't know. It was just like something I was just born with. Like I came into this world knowing that music was it. I'm like, I can't remember an age where I didn't want to do music, probably because of him. And I don't know if this is the moment where I knew I loved music. I don't know if this is one of your questions. It might be more so the moment that I knew I wanted to do music or be a musician. And it was from, I remember these stories so vividly. And I'll give it to you vividly because that's what this is for. I remember being in my brother's room. We shared a room while mine was being turned from a baby room to a kid room. And we were in his bunk bed, and my dad would come in some nights and he would tell stories about, like, I don't know what it would be triggered by, a song, some type of nostalgia. He might have just finished reading us a storybook and started talking about some other stuff. But he would tell us stories about the band that he and his brothers had and how they would, they would play for the Sweet 16s and this is the type of music would play and Mark would sound like this and this. Like, he would just go down the road of nostalgia of being in the band with his brothers. And then, like, in my mind, I just think this is the coolest thing in the world. Like, you're talking about the music that you're playing. Uncle Mark and Uncle Mo is just, going crazy. And then we had, Ivan on the saxophone and, oh, man, so-and-so on guitar. And, like, the way that he would describe it just made, I was like, I want to do that. Like, it's like, that's whenever you told those stories, that's what I knew. I was like, that's what I want to do. I didn't care even about the story when they said they were driving around, what was it, Boston? They were driving around Boston after a gig that they didn't feed them at. And so they couldn't find a place that was open and they were looking for a Domino's. And like, even that story, I was like, no money, no food, after the gig, no place to eat. Yeah, that's where I want to go. Not necessarily, but it's just like him just telling those stories and those funny stories has just made me know that I already loved music, but that was also when I knew that that's what I wanted to do growing up, was to be able to have those type of special moments in music and be a musician and share that and whatnot. So I hope that answers your question.
It definitely does. What about you?
When do you feel like you've
truly loved music?
Truly loved music.
I just like music. I think it was just something I just liked. I was an artist. I guess I still am an artist, but I don't get the time to do it a lot. I used to paint a lot. In high school, I did a lot of competitions throughout the state and national art. So that was kind of my release type of thing. And so music, when I went to school, away to college, it used to be Fred Sanford, Benny Hill, because I was up late night. So those two, and I would just turn on Manhattan Transfer and I think one of their cousins was one of the Manhattan Transfer's cousins, younger cousins, was across the hall from me in college. So I used to like Manhattan Transfer. So I just put whatever I could get my hands on. And basically, you can only get so many stations. So once I got a good station, I would just leave it there. So I think that was it. And I think the stories came out. You remember the one about Boston? We made up a song. We wanted Domino's, and it's like we couldn't find Domino's, and they said we can go to China Joe. So my brother, he always makes a joke out of everything. So he made up a song. We don't want no China Joe. All we want is Domino. And he was the keyboard player, so he started playing that, and we started laughing, hungry, laughing. We weren't that distraught. We were at my uncle's house. My uncle's like, well, we get something to eat later on. Go fix some eggs or something. But we just made a joke out of everything. So, and my brothers could come up with a song from the worst situation. It didn't matter what it was. They would always have us laughing. Mark and Maurice would have you on the floor laughing. And they'd be like, didn't we get in trouble for this? And they like, yeah, we did. But anyway, we in trouble now. Let's make a song out of it. But, you know, those things kind of inspire me. So when I would tell my children a story, I never would just read the story. I would always add something to it. And they're like, Dad, that's not true. I was like, it's our story. I'm making it up as we go. Go to sleep.
Not even in the book.
And I would do it on purpose because I knew they would get, Dad, is this your story? Is this the real version? I was like, oh, no, that's my version. And he says, Dad, but we want Mama to tell us the story because she reads the book. You just make up stuff. I said, but it's fun. And so I think they enjoyed that, and we'd make up songs and things like that. So I think there was just growing up not having a whole lot of money. We weren't poor, but just not having a lot, so you use what you had to make fun out of it and enjoy life. So that's what we did. Music was a part where you could do that. You could listen to music, you could play the music, from the flute to clapping your hands to singing a song. And I know in my family, my mom would get us up and she would write a song. I'll tell one story.
That's fine. Just keep the mic up.
Michael Jackson had a song out. It was the ABC song, ABC. And so my mom woke up one night and she says, get up. I got a song. So she made a song, and I thought it was corny then, but that was just my mom's inspiration. She says, oh, you guys listen to this stuff. You listen to this music. It's not Christian music. She wasn't that daunt on it, but she was like, okay, let's make something positive, because she always taught kids. So she took the ABC and made a song out of it. She said, God is love. G-O-D. God is love. God is love. And she made a whole song playing the piano, and she made us sing it. And then we were embarrassed, but we were at a small church, or we would be in the living room. And if she really wanted us to, if we were like acting up or something, she says, okay, everybody come around. And we're like, oh, stop playing. She says, sing, we're going to sing. And so we had Andre Crouch playing, and she would learn the Andre Crouch song, and then we would have to sing along with the Edwin Hawkins song. So it was like really like gathering family time, and if we weren't playing a game, I mean, we enjoyed it. First, we didn't want to stop playing, but playing our games. But then she would get us around, and we would be in the living room or dining room, and she would just play the piano, and we would just sit there. And pretty soon, you all fall asleep, and Mom would just be playing her piano. And she was good though, but not now. But she was really good. She was young. My mom's 85, so
yeah, she's still writing songs though.
She does. She makes up her own songs.
She's still writing songs. No. So very much in the family.
All right.
Oh man, she'll give you the lyrics to it too.
Yep. But that's just good. It's something fun that you do. Music is from the soul, and if you can sing a song, hey, I don't care. Walking down the street by yourself and you can think of a song, something to sing, it lifts your spirit. So I think music is something that I would use going through school, going through life. Just sometimes you just wanted to sing a song that would that you might have heard it, whether you liked it or not. It's just if it expressed good, bad, or ugly, express something about it, even that verse, and then you would just use that, and it'll kind of take you to the next day.
Okay. So speaking of lifting on your spirits, what is one song? Yes, one song that always warms your heart, no matter your mood.
I don't like. I was about to say I don't like where this question is headed. Always warms our heart, no matter the mood. I don't know if you come up. What do you got?
I don't know. Well, there's one song. I think Erinn asked me that the other day, and there's one song. It's September. Whenever that song came on, it doesn't matter where you were or who you were. It doesn't care if you was in church. It didn't care if you was at a skating party. When that song came on, it's just a feel-good song. And so I think that would be one that I could automatically, if you hear it walking through the store, it's just a feel-good, a really, really good feel-good song.
Yeah, timeless music.
Yes.
Warms my heart. I don't know if I have an actual song that warms my heart because I'm really like a what's the vibe today. Like I'm very much a what's the vibe. Songs that warm my heart, they're not like necessarily by an artist, but there would be songs that just bring nostalgia. For the longest, I could not sing a hymn after my mom's dad passed because he was a pastor, he was a bishop, and he used to sing hymns all the time. And so he had a hymn. He did, Granddaddy, what song is that? He might not even know the title, but he would always have a hymn for everything. He would get his hymn book out, and he would just sit there and he would sing hymns. So I would say hymns would be songs that warm my heart because those are what give me fond memories of him. That one and a song that I made up when I was a kid that for some reason I still have in my head.
Oh, that one? Oh, yeah.
No, it was two of them.
What song?
It was the Little Red Box. If I had a little red box to put Daddy in, I'd take him out and put him back again. But if it was my brother or somebody I didn't like, it was like if I had a little red box to put Tyler in, I'd take him out and bam, 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 and put him back again. So like it was just little things like that bring warm memories to my heart. So that's how I would answer that question.
Okay.
If you think of one song, there's a song. It's an old Mahalia Jackson, and I would hear her sing it. How Great Thou Art.
Oh yeah.
It's like a timeless song. I mean, my lowest moments in life, and I was just thinking that song, How Great Thou Art. And it's like, you think of God, you think of where you are, you think of people that are way worse than you are, and you think of where you are, no matter how bad it is, you just think, well, he's still great. You know, you're breathing. You got a chance. It might be on your way to the hospital, but you still have a chance. So
yeah,
that's one song that I think I always hear Mahalia Jackson's voice when I hear it. And I remember the album. My grandmother had the album, and we would sneak into her living room and put it on and turn it on real low because you're not supposed to be in there. And we would let Mahalia Jackson. Then when she found out it was on, she was like, just turn it up. And she had a real big house, so we would be in the living room, white carpet, white furniture, and you would be in the living room, big French doors, and we would just be in the living room, and you don't touch anything, don't touch the crystals, but we could sit there and we'd fall asleep waiting on our mother to pick us up, and we could hear Mahalia Jackson's, and you could hear the crackling of the needle on the LP. I still remember those scenes though. You know, my grandmother's been dead, probably over 40 years. But I still remember those times. They kind of bring tears to my eye.
Yeah, those warm memories.
What's her name?
Rosalie.
Was that in Detroit, this house?
On Lawrence, 70 Lawrence. That's my parents grew up. My mom was an adult when they moved in there, but as a grandkid, that was the big house we always went to for Christmas.
Yeah.
Everyone was over there. You know, they had like 8 bedrooms, huge living room, dining room, and kitchen. 3rd floor, the kids went up to play, you know, when all the adults was on the 1st floor. And, you know, it's a lot of memories in that house. So.
Okay. So what are some of your earliest or most cherished musical memories with your dad, with your daughter?
Music. I don't know what you laughing about. Musical memories. You said earliest?
Yeah, or just like any musical memory, but you know, definitely when you're like much younger.
My earliest is when my dad would be in his moments of nostalgia and he'd pull out his electric bass like he could still play it. And when we were kids, we thought he could, and then we got older and realized he couldn't. I mean, that was another thing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Because my dad, he had 2 basses. He had a green, like teal one that was really, really pretty. And then he had a hollow body one that was red. And he would pull them out sometimes. He would pull one of them out and he'd be like, yeah, I used to play like this. And then hold up. And then, yeah, it was like this. And then, boom, boom, you know. And he would. So I would say, like, that's my earliest musical memory with my dad. And I loved it every time. Like, every time my dad went into that mode of music mode, I was like, yes, like, I loved it. So, yeah, that is my earliest musical memory with my dad. It's him trying to play the bass after not playing it for, what, like 10 years?
Do you still have these instruments?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
What's your earliest musical memory
with Erinn? I don't know. We still play Just Dance, and I can't move. I was like, Erinn, you know, I got to do it real slow because I'm about to have a heart attack.
Oh, the video game?
Yeah, we do the Just Dance. That was most recent, but we would just play. You know, I remember her playing house and had a little house then. We would play the radio on, or I think when she first wanted to play saxophone, all I could think is the Simpson girl. I was like, no, I don't want you to play the saxophone. I mean, all I could think about is that, and I just really did not want her to play saxophone. I said, play the flute. Try this, try that. Anything, not the saxophone. But now I see that's her calling. I mean, she's very, very good at it. And she plays several types of saxophone. And she really, I mean, I cry whenever I see her play because I just remember when she was struggling to play. But she always had a knack. And most of her professors would say, she's really good. I think she's going to be good at this. And she would pick up and she would just play. And she'd be like, Dad, I stink. I didn't do it this way. I was like, yeah, you sounded good to me. I don't know. And most of her teachers would say, she's got it. She's got a gift. She's not just playing because she learned how to play, he says, but she's got a gift. So those things I really thought, that really warmed my heart, that once you find your niche and find something that you like to do, I think you should pursue it. No matter what anybody else says, because most times musicians are like, oh, okay, get a real job. My parents said the same thing. My brothers went on to play with some of the top artists. Even today, they still get called on to play with some of the top artists. But, you know, they never really had to have a job. They always played. Eventually, they did after they just said, hey, I'm tired of being on the road and stuff. But it was when you pursue your heart, I think it doesn't matter. You can have a job, but your career or what you really like to do, I think you should pursue it, and God will make a way for you. Yeah. So.
Okay. So you, Erinn, what songs, artists, or instruments remind you of your father?
Da bass. Da bass. Anytime I hear a bass line, a funky bass, anytime, my dad will tell you, anytime I meet somebody who's like a killing bass player, I'm like, oh, Dad, you got this killing bass player. You know, when I met Divinity Rocks through the Black Woman Rock, I was like, Dad, you got Divinity, like, oh my goodness. Like, so every time, like, definitely bass, anything with a bass in it. If it's a really sweet bass player and I'm at a concert without him or something, I'll send him a video. So yeah, anything with bass, that is my dad, because that's his instrument, and that's what I grew up watching him play. And he's like, yeah, I used to be able to use.
Well, Honestly, you can ask. I told her, I said,
Wait, that was my question.
ask any of my friends, did I used to play? And she says, when she asked him, she said, yeah, he was really good. We wanted to play like him. A lot of the younger guys that knew me, they was like, yeah, we used to play with him. We always wanted to play like he played. And I said, yeah, I don't have it anymore. I admit it, I don't have it anymore, but
that's why I took it. You don't have any more. That's because I took it.
you took it?
Yeah, I took it.
But you can't play bass.
I could if I wanted to. I'm gonna pick up in the basement. Give me a week. Give me a week.
See, I think she can play it a little bit, though.
I can play guitar.
Oh, she can play guitar. I never could play acoustic guitar. I could not play lead nor acoustic. Erinn picked up the acoustic guitar, and one Christmas we bought her the guitar. The next week, she was playing Israel Hilton. I said, how do you play that? I don't get it. My fingers won't work right to play that. And she was actually got the song and played it, and she was just picking songs that she would just listen to, and she would start playing. And I was like, how do you learn that? I still can't play it.
So yeah, I would say bass and guitar too. Bass and guitar remind me of my dad.
Okay. Y'all probably already touched on this, but were there certain sounds or musical traditions always present growing up?
For me, I wouldn't traditions. Not really traditions. It was just stuff that my parents did all the time that we were just used to, and just and that sometimes deeper than others. Like when my dad go into a deep dive, like if I wake up on a Saturday morning, he was the one as if you hear music, if you hear the Clark sisters, all right, clean the bathroom, vacuum the steps. Like my mom will be gone for the day, and my dad will wake up. And if it was Clark sisters playing on the stereo, because I was born in the 90s. We're not gonna say what year in the 90s. I was born in the 90s, so we had the stereo system with the CD player, the cassette tapes, and the radio. They don't have multi stereo systems now. They don't believe in that. It's it's all Spotify and just on your phone. But back when music, you could have a tangible experience with music. You would turn on the CDs or whatnot, or turn on an old tape, and especially if my mom was gone all day, he would just play music like all day long. It's like all day he would just be playing music, and I don't know if he was in a mode or whatnot, but yeah, not necessarily traditions, but even in the car with my mom, I know she's not here, but even in the car with my mom is why I know artists like CeCe Winans and Ron Canoli and artists like that, because I rode in the car a lot with my mom. I don't remember a lot of car rides where there was no music playing. We either had Reverend Mother on a 1340. If it was Christmas time, we had 100.3 WNIC until they got tired of me singing Christmas songs and they changed it. But I'm like, it was just hard. It wasn't a lot of times when I wasn't around music, but when they weren't playing music in the house, or if he wasn't making up bebopping songs around the house. So he would probably have more to speak on about the traditions, because we have a very musical family. So he would be able to speak on more traditions that happened him growing up than me.
Okay. Well, you want to share one of your traditions growing up?
Well, basically, we're in church, so we heard a lot of music, but the music that we grew up with was during the transition of traditional gospel music or Christian music to Christian jazz to whatever they call it. We just like music. We play anything, anytime, any place. But we were in that transition of music, from Soul Train music to the Clark sisters to the Winans and to the Kirk Franklin. So it was a lot of transition of music from your mainline traditional gospel Christian choirs, the duels, I'm trying to think of the Donavels, the choirs that had the duels during the holidays. From that generation, and my sister sang with the choirs all over the world, traveling. From that tradition of music to just liking music and transforming the music from a musician side and just seeing how it really worked. And even some of my friends that were in the band, they were they were down at a couple of them went to the black colleges down in Atlanta, but they were like over the marching band. So when you see the movie Drumline, some of my friends, they were actually drumline. I mean, they lived that. So it was all of that plethora of music really kind of kept things going. And it wasn't like you liked one genre or another. I really wasn't a rock and roll fan or heavy metal music. I had some friends that liked it, or during college you have associates that liked it, but it never really, Aerospace or something like that, they might have a song, or Philadelphia might have one or two songs that you did like, but I didn't go for every genre of music. I think the European music was a little different for me, because I would find black artists from Detroit and from the U.S. that would go to Europe, and they would stay there for years, and it's a whole different genre of music that they're singing and things. So I began to see that type of music, even the gospel music that was coming, or Christian music that was coming from Europe, from Africa. You would hear those sounds, and that made it universal. Well, it doesn't matter where you are, that music, a A flat is a A flat, a B flat is a B flat. So
yeah. Said musical traditions in your household.
But that's what it was. We all learned. We learned. My mother made us learn how to play the piano.
Musical traditions in your household.
Oh, which house? Well, in my mom's household. Now, my house, we just played everything. We didn't play hard rock or anything like that. Mostly gospel music. We played Christian music or easy listening music, from ABCs to Mozart. Learn your ABCs.
So you listen to everything.
Right. Our traditional was you have to listen to music.
Some
kind of music.
Well, he was for real about making sure all his kids played instruments.
Right. My sisters played clarinet, flute. My brothers played percussions or keyboards, and drums, and you had I played the bass guitar. My best friend played the lead in our band, and one of my other best friends I grew up with plays saxophone. He still plays today.
So yeah.
How was your dad as a father growing up? You already said some stuff.
He's a fun guy. So you say something like that, it's just a flood of a wash of just hilarious. My dad and I have so many, like hundreds at this point. Not even 30 years on this earth, but literally like hundreds of just bust them out, crack up, hilarious moments. Like I don't have many negative memories or anything with my dad at all. So he was always really cool. I thought he was my superhero growing up. I don't know why today, but I thought my dad was the coolest person in this entire universe. Wasn't nobody cool like my dad. He had an afro. He dressed sharp. He was music. I thought there was nobody cooler than my dad. But he was always very fun. My dad was always encouraging and supported me to, like, he would just go above and beyond to support me in so many different ways. Whether being a little kid, can I tell him about the ballet? So even as a little kid, I was in a dance class, and we had to dress up like as little Christmas characters or whatever for rehearsal. It wasn't even a show; it was a rehearsal, and we had to dress up like Christmas. And I was crying because it was a couple hours before practice, and I didn't have an outfit, and I was crying. I was like, I don't have an outfit, and everybody's gonna be dressed up instead of me. This man goes into the basement. I was a very arts and crafts kid growing up, so my mom had all types of arts and crafts stuff for me: felt, markers, stickers. Like, we had literal bins and crates of arts and crafts stuff. And my dad went downstairs, found a little tutu from my dress-up box. He cut out some felt, and he made me a little elf thing, and he made me a little hat and some ears. And by the time, an hour, in an hour, and used hot glue and everything. In an hour, had a whole costume ready for me to go to dance rehearsal with. This isn't it. So that's just an example of how from an early age, like, and he just goes above and beyond throughout my whole life. Like, even in college, when I'm in the practice room trying to finish my assignment until like 3 o'clock in the morning, was it?
God.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was trying to finish a final, and he sat outside in the parking lot because I told him I'd be ready by 1. Well, no, it was midnight, then 1. So anywhere from driving me to every gig that I had before I had a car, to making sure I had what I needed to succeed in all areas of life. He was just always super supportive. And he's like supportive in that way, but he also supported my goofiness. Like, he was the only person in the family that really understood my humor, and because I could get him to laugh at stuff that my brother and my mom wouldn't laugh at. So I was the kid, like, you know, hey, Dad, look. And he would always turn around. He wouldn't want to, but he would turn around anyway. And I would do a funny dance or something goofy, and he would laugh. And it's funny because my brother didn't really like it. But there's certain things I get away with from with him that I can't get away with other people. Like, don't ever hit my mom with a snowball. Like, I did that once and instantly regretted it. She had daggers in her eyes. She was like, I know you didn't just throw a snowball at me. I was like, wrong person. Him, he's gonna get it every year. Like, not a winter will go by that he doesn't get nailed with a snowball. And I'm not talking like on the arm or anything. Like, I'm aiming straight for the back of the head, like, so that the ice will slip down into your shirt. So yeah, snowball fights happen every winter. I told him, I said, you're gonna be 85, you're gonna be 95. Even if you're in a wheelchair at 95, I'm gonna throw a snowball right at you. And it's true. It's going to be true every time. So he's supportive in every single area of my life. Super supportive, accepting, and just an overall really fun guy. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. So creating music in the house, did he have a special place that he would create music? What was that like?
Did you have a special place that you created music?
I did.
I have a special place, or he?
Did he have a special place? But I want you to describe it. Like, what it, like, take me there.
The basement?
Uh-huh.
I would say the basement because that's where he kept his bass, and that's where our keyboard was kept. And then my brother growing up with drums, that's all the instruments were in the basement. So I would say the basement because anytime that he was bebopping or making music or trying to sit at the piano, and he would get on my brother's drums. Like, it didn't matter if he couldn't play the instrument, he was gonna try anyway. Cause you see who he birthed, so he's gonna try anyway. And I would say the basement is where he would create the most music, cause that's where his bass was, and that's where he would take it out when he was bored or trying to think about something, or that's where he would take it out, and that's where we would see him messing around with it or messing around with our stuff. So I would definitely say the basement.
Okay. Did you ever do anything secretly to impress your dad?
Yeah, I made him I wrote.
I still have it too.
I wrote him a song for his birthday. There was no Logic back then, so it was GarageBand on my very, very old, this was already back in the day, so this was even older MacBook, and I had GarageBand on it, and no, was it birthday or Father's Day, one of those days, and I literally wrote a little song for him, because when I was a kid, when I was younger, I used to make up songs all the time. So I wrote a song for him for his birthday, had lyrics and everything, had a chorus. I recorded my voice 3 times so that it would sound like it was more than one person. Like, I really was trying. I was really trying. I didn't have a microphone or I was really trying, and I made this song for my dad, and I burned it to a CD, whatever Father's Day or birthday it was, and I gave it to him, and that was his surprise. He had no idea that I did it, no idea that I was doing it. I just came up with it on the fly, and I made that, and I couldn't wait to surprise him with it, and he was very surprised, and apparently he still has the CD. I don't even know if I want to listen to it.
Put it on the album. When she makes her first album, she's gonna come out and say, "What's this little ditty on the back of the album?" This is the one I wrote for my dad.
So yeah, that's what I did in secret to surprise him musically.
I definitely want to hear it. What are some phrases that your dad always said or still say?
Oh my God. Oh Lord. Y'all don't believe fat meat greasy. I'm a grown man, can't nobody tell me what to do. Go to bed. Oh man, I think those would be the top three. Oh, and like asterisk, he would often refer to himself as Master of the Universe.
Okay.
So yeah, he was, anytime we don't believe him, because he would try to help us with our homework, but he would always get it wrong. So we would like, Dad, he'd be like, Dad, that's not the answer. He'd be like, y'all don't believe fat meat greasy. Or yeah, every time we got home from church growing up, go to bed, because he insisted it would take us all day to do so. Yeah, and I'm a grown man, I do whatever I want. I don't know where that came from. But that's what he always said. He still says it today. He still says it.
Are there any songs that you only know because you heard your dad overplaying them or playing them?
Yeah.
Or overheard your dad playing them?
Yeah, I would say about my entire childhood playlist. Like, I would not know. I would probably know who the Clark sisters were without my dad because, but I wouldn't know who Andre Crouch was without my dad. And there are certain songs by the Clark sisters of the Winans. There are certain songs by them that not a lot of people know about because they haven't dug that deep into the vault. So I would say there are definitely, I can't remember the song you just hit me to. I can remember the melody, but he just hit me to somebody the other day. He hit me to Chuck Mangione. He hit me to Chick Corea. He hit me to David Sanborn. He hit me to the Yellow Jackets. So I would honestly say, like, even though some of these names I probably would have discovered on my own just being in jazz, but the majority of my listening comes from the songs that he recommends. Like, I wouldn't know about, like I said, I probably would have known about Chuck Mangione, but definitely quicker than my dad growing up saying, you need to check out Chuck Mangione. So...
Okay, if your dad had an artist name or a DJ name, what do you think it would be?
DJ Master of the Universe. That's the one he would pick out for himself. DJ Master of the Universe.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be it.
Did your dad have any side hustles?
Being a dad. Side hustles? No, not that I know of. I mean, I know growing up, when he had his band, he was in the band with his brothers, kind of guess that was a side hustle. But he also would do things. Growing up, he kind of always had something going on, whether it's working for one of my uncles or he had his own lawn mowing business or so. He was used to, working and hustling growing up. I don't know if he really had any side hustles. He has several businesses and different things that he does. So more than just side hustles, he just has a few different streams of income that he does based off of his qualifications and certifications as a property inspector, as a construction manager, as an architect, things like that. So not really hustles, but he does have a few LLCs and companies and businesses that he does in addition to his regular 9-to-5.
Okay. So for the fathers.
All right, Dad. You're up.
How would you describe your daughter's personality, especially musically, but also just in general? If somebody came up to you like, describe her personality, what would you say?
She's kind of, earlier on I would say she was shy. She's kind of laid back, kind of listen to you in the background. She doesn't like being out front. But she's always listening. So even though she's in the background or being quiet, don't think she's not paying attention to what's going on. And I think sometimes people would take advantage of that, but I always protected my daughter. So it's like, you can call me in the middle of the night, I'll be there. Mm-hmm. It's just the type of dad I am. But she's sweet and nice, but she's also quiet and just, I don't like the word shy, but I think she's just very observant and she's kind of in the pocket. So.
Okay. How'd that make you feel?
Made me feel good. 'Cause I have a lot of conversations with my dad all the time about everything under the sun, and I tell him, I was like, people think I'm so chill. Like, people are like, oh, Erinn, you're so chill. Like, you're too chill. You're so laid back. Oh, you're so cool. Like, because they say I walk up with my saxophone like I'm just too cool and chill. They're like, and then you just completely blast it off, and then you just walk off like so chill. And I told my dad I really think I get it from him because he also isn't the one. I don't think my dad is the one who will always, if it's a huge crowd of people, like everybody having a big conversation, he's also not going to be one of the big main people to jump in. It's like, hey, and like, put it out there. He listens a lot. I would say like maybe reserved. We're definitely observant because we like to listen and take in and see what's up before we, contribute. But I think a lot of my laid backness, chillness, and observance, and leaning towards the discretion and discernment, I think a lot of it comes from my dad. And I think I inherited quite a bit of that from his personality as well. So it made me feel good. I like my dad.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about Erinn's music today. Is there anything else you would like to add? Like anything that stands out to you?
She's good. And she's persistent. I know that's something that she really wants to do as a career. And so I try to back her. Me and her mom, we try to back her as much as possible. But I guess we're really cautious because of having family members be in the business, really in the thick of business. I won't mention all, but really in the thick of business. And to see how they have matured now. And they're like, well, yeah, we like to be on the stage, but don't get over thrilled about being on the stage because after it's over, it's over. So what about the backlog? What about being in the background of the music making industry? And I would encourage her, just don't get caught up in the hoopla because it's a mean world out there, the music business. But I think with her, I would just want her to be well-rounded and possibly be involved in music, not directly as a performer, but that could be part of it. But not your whole life as a performer, but you could actually do other things and still contribute to the music, to your industry or to your career. So that's basically how I see her in music.
Okay. So it sounds like you were semi-intentional about how you introduce music to your children. Did you ever say to yourself, like, oh, they need to know this record? Like, I want to make sure they know this, if anything.
There might be a few. I can't remember. I think when they were little, my wife primarily introduced them to, as far as she's an educator, so she introduced them to more of the formal side of classic music. But even music in the folklore and in the traditional songs, from Disney to, what is that guy's name? The poems, the different poems.
Oh, Shel Silverstein.
So those type of songs they would learn. And even today, it's a certain situations, my children, both of them will come up with one of those. Like, how do we remember this stuff? But they were like learning things from Schoolhouse Rock, just learning. So the music that went along with it kind of was, if anything, was a traditional. That was kind of like that, the educational music that went along with it. I know and I hear now it's way out there now. But back then, that traditional, those type of learning programs, the Electric Company, the Sesame Street songs, those things like that, the Disney songs, which we probably have every Disney song and album there is. Not album, but movies and things like that. So those type of songs, and mainly those learning songs are what, teaching a lesson type of songs that they kind of stick to you through life. I don't care if you're a grown person, an adult, you still want to kind of let those, they teach you life lessons and you learn by them. So whether they're encouraging you personally or it's encouraging you with your manners, or if it's encouraging you with being friendly or being kind. I think those type of songs, that's the inclination of the music, that we try to get them to learn life skills through that music. And I don't think it was just the music side. It was just, how can you get them to learn and remember this and make it a part of their life.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever create music together?
We tried, but she don't like me.
That's not true. That's not true. Did they ever create music together? I don't know. I think we just make up songs around each other. Mm-hmm. I think we just make up songs around each other. Because my dad and I didn't have a car, and I was a musician, playing professionally, kind of like since before I even got to college, I was starting to play a little professionally. So we spent a lot of time in the car together because he would drive me everywhere, from here to Detroit to Ann Arbor to Lansing, U of M, wherever I needed to go, he would take me. So we spent a lot of time in the car together. And we just have a very dynamic relationship where, yeah, we have a very dynamic relationship. We'll make up songs, especially if one of us is getting on the other's nerves. Like the one time that he wouldn't stop for me to get some Wendy's, and I replaced every line in, Hamilton's Satisfied, because we had just watched the movie. And so I replaced every line in Satisfied with a line about Wendy's. So I guess we inspire each other's musical creativity. I don't think we've ever really written anything together. I will ask him for his opinion or another ear a second. He's like the main person who I will ask for another ear or an opinion if I'm writing or working on a song or an arrangement. I do trust his ear, and I trust his opinion and musical opinion. So I will ask him, like, hey, Dad, what do you think of this? Or I'm thinking of this for the bass line. Would you change it? Or So I would definitely say that would be how we create music together.
Okay. Well, if you both created an album, what do you think it would be called?
Talking about my dad.
No.
Talking about my dad.
Road Trip.
Yeah, we probably name it Road Trip.
Okay, I like that.
As many times we've been on the road together, going places.
Road Trip, because it's been a long journey of our daddy-daughter relationship. It's been a great journey, It's like a road trip. You just get in the car and go.
That would be a good one. Journey or Road Trip.
Road Trip.
That would probably be it.
Title track will be Journey.
Mm-hmm.
The single will be Journey. Album will be Road Trip.
Okay. We have 3 more. Well, maybe 2, but we'll see. This is often a hefty one, I'm learning. But here's the question. Beyond notes and melodies, what life lessons has music taught you through your father-daughter relationship?
Life lessons that music has taught me through our relationship. I think my father has used music and experiences, my experience in music, to teach me some really great points. One lesson that was really hard for me to learn and that I have to remember is not to let what other people think influence the decisions that I make so much, because by the end of the day, I'm responsible for what I do and for my decisions, and not to let people steer me into doing something that I might not want to do or feel comfortable doing, or for whatever reason. But so I would say he's definitely taught me some life lessons through music, the amount of discipline that it needs to take, but also we've had several conversations about confidence and exhibiting confidence. We've had quite a few conversations about confidence as I'm coming into my own artistry and learning and developing Erinn Alexis and who I am as an artist and my identity and artistry and whatnot. We definitely do have some really good conversations about that. So I would say he teaches me some life lessons, honestly, through me just talking to him about what I might be thinking of my music or what might be going on in my music or whatnot. So, yeah, I would say he teaches me quite a few life lessons through music and as I talk to him about my journey that I'm on.
Okay. So. What about you? Beyond notes and melodies, what life lessons has music taught you through your father-daughter relationship?
Who to and not to listen to. That's an old song. Most people don't know that, but I've learned, even as my daughter was growing up and going through her life changes and coming out on her own, I had to learn, well, me and my wife had to learn, you can't just listen to what everybody else is saying. You have to listen to your child. You have to listen to their heart. You can't dismiss them when they do something that you don't like. You still have to love them through it all. And you really have to show that you love them. You can't just say, I love you, but leave me alone. That doesn't work. You have to remain involved, and you have to, as encouraging as, even when it's, you have to be corrective and you're speaking to them. They won't receive it if they know you're coming out of angry because you don't like me anyway. You're just saying that. But when they know you're saying it out of love, you can do it, and you can say it and know they don't like it, but they'll know. I think my daughter taught me one thing. She said, Dad, all the crazy stuff I was doing, I knew you and Mom loved me. It didn't matter. You might not have liked what I was doing, but I never thought you didn't love me. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the lesson, one of the life lessons I learned. And it was always who to and not to listen to, because other people would say, oh, she's doing this, listen to this, listen to that, but you can't. You have to know the person's heart, mm-hmm. and you have to know who to listen. Are you going to listen to others, or are you going to listen to God, or are you going to listen to your spouse or your children? You can't let the world in your circle.
Oh, you listen to me?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
no, I listen to her. I mean, good, bad, and ugly.
I sometimes listen to you too.
I know. It's like the good, bad, and ugly. Mm-hmm. And I think I can go back to life songs, lessons I've learned through music, just listening to them. Now I can listen to them and says that was a life lesson. And one of the songs is it was called Who and Not to Listen to. And
who sings that?
There was a lady named Kathy Catroli. This was in the 70s. Mm-hmm. No, it had to be the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Okay.
And
what's the genre?
It was, I guess it was Christian music.
Oh, okay.
But it was kind of like, remember I said I would go to Canada? Mm-hmm. So the music wasn't like traditional church music. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't probably think, you thought the whinings were not churchy, but you wouldn't think of these. But a lot of the musicians that she used were the ones in jazz that I knew from other genres. And that's why I began to learn that musicians played all genre, and their faith could cross over. I mean, they were staunch in their faith, but music was, how do you say, like I said it before, A flat is A flat. It doesn't matter where you're playing it at. So I began to learn and listen to that type of music, and that was one of the songs I always remembered. I think I still have her album, and but who to and not to listen to. So a lot of the songs I did listen to that I said, well, go to Canada and get, they had a life lesson to it. I didn't get it for that. I just got it because it was cool music. But later on, I was able to relate to some of the songs. So.
Okay. So, is there anything else you'd like to share about your musical bond, or anything about yourself? Also, like, I know you mentioned some of the things that you do, but is there anything that's reoccurring that you want to share about yourself?
In music?
Yeah.
I mean, I do quite a few things. I play throughout the city as a sideman. I've played with Marcus Elliott, who happens to be my teacher. I played with him a few times this past year, which has been a really great experience. And I hope, I continue to get the opportunities to play with him. I have my own group that we're working on getting some more opportunities, some more dates on the calendar, hopefully before the end of the year. Definitely looking at some dates next year for sure. So between being a sideman and asked to play in other things, and then having my own group, That's pretty much how much where I play. I also do go into different high schools and different schools and do either master classes or sectionals with their saxophonists, especially if they have young ladies in the saxophone section. If you have young ladies in your saxophone section, by all means, please let me come in and, do something, talk to them, lead a sectional, just, help out in the band room. So I do that on a fairly consistent basis. I go to CAS quite a bit. I've been over to another Chandler Park Academy, I believe. I think that's one of the ones that I've been to. So I do quite a bit. I just try to stay busy within my field. Since I've graduated with my bachelor's in music performance, I want to stay working within my field and within that capacity. And our musical relationship, honestly, I'm just very, very, I feel extremely blessed to not only have my dad active in my life, but to have him as my dad, to have Carleton as my dad, because, there's nobody like him. And honestly, I don't think anybody else would have did as good a job. I don't know if anybody else could have handled me. Honestly, I think, they say, God gave you to the right parents, because there's not a lot of people, a lot of other people's dads would just get mad and go off on them if they sprayed him down with a water hose as soon as he was done cutting the grass. But not me, because you need a shower, dude. See, other dads would get mad. Other dads would be like, oh, I can't believe you. My dad just stands there, just let it happen. Not a lot of, so I'm just really thankful that I have that kind of, and a lot of people understand that kind of relationship. They're like, you sprayed your dad with a water hose? I'm like, twice. And I'm like, because at some point I know he's going to get me back, and that's just what we do. That's just how we have fun. It's just what we do, so I'm very blessed. I had one girl tell me, because I was waiting for my dad to pick me up from work. I worked all the way downtown. I was waiting for him to pick me up from work. And one of the girls I worked with, she was like, how are you getting home? And I was like, my dad's picking me up. And she was like, you have one of those? She was being completely serious. She was like, you have one of those? I was like, what? And she was like, a dad? I was like, yeah, I have my dad. She was like, and your mom? I said, yeah, my parents have been together, married almost 30 years. And she was like, you're the only person that I know now who has a father in their life. She was like, nobody. She was like, out of all the people that I know, none of them have a father and know their father. And I'm like, that kind of hit home for me, because I was like, man, I am extremely, extremely blessed to not only just have a father, but to have such a special, dynamic, and wonderful and fun relationship with my dad that is never, ever, ever, not a single day goes by where my relationship with my dad is not exciting. So it is exciting. So I just feel very fortunate and blessed that his father passed on music and jazz onto him, and that he passed that on to me. And I do feel like I'm continuing part of the legacy. And I'm just really happy about that. That is something special I get to share with my dad. We also share football together. We like watching football together. We share fish. He likes fish, so he loves the way I make salmon and catfish. So we bond over other things like football and catfish and waffles. So so there's more than just music, but all of those things combined just makes our dad and daughter relationship really great. What would you have to say about our dad and daughter relationship through music?
It's there. No, just live life and love it. Love your children. I guess I have a special for my son too. I think I loathe on both of them in different ways. They're both dynamically different, but I'm so proud of my children to be in their early 30s or late 20s and to have a career and have a life that's successful. A measure of success that you can say that you've taught them, you lived for them, and they might have make their own path and their own decisions, but you can look back and as a parent you can be proud of it. So I think that's the biggest thing a father can have, and what I have with my daughter.
Ooh. I know, right?
You want to
Something's gotta happen. So currently your relationship in music, you're a listener, a creator, or a teacher?
More so.
Dreamer. I'm sorry.
Is that a dreamer?
I'm sorry.
I'm more of a listener.
Okay.
I'm more of a listener. And I leave that creative stuff to my brothers and my daughter. I'm always trying to get her with her uncles because they know so much and they know so many people. And she's like, Dad, you don't know these folks. I said, but my brother does. And so, I'm just a listener now. I enjoy listening to music and, my quiet times. I even listen to Erinn, some of her stuff, some of her music. I don't want to say stuff. Her recital. Her mom has a song on her recital. She just plays it all the time. And it's really something she wrote and arranged. So and we've heard the original and we've heard what she did with it, and it's a joy to hear that, see that growth. So maybe she'll write another daddy song.
Stand in line. I just finished the one for your son.
Oh